Assalamualaikum and good evening for everyone. Today I want to present child sexual abuse. So before we start, I want you all watch the video first. So what you understand from that video? What you guys understand from that episode? It is we call child sexual abuse. Okay, so what is child sexual abuse? Child sexual abuse defined as sexual activity with a child by an adolescent or older child. If any adult engage in sexual activity with a child, that is sexual abuse. If another child or adolescent engage in sexual activity with a child, a grey area enters where some sexual behavior is innocent exploration rather than abuse. Okay, they have two types of child sexual abuse. It's touching and non-touching. Okay, the touching example for touching in child sexual abuse is touching a child's genitals, making a child touch someone else's genitals, playing sexual games, putting objects or body parts inside the sensitive part of a child for sexual pleasure. This example of a picture. This example non-touching of child sexual abuse. First is showing pornography to a child, exposing a person's genitals to a child, prostituting of or trafficking a child, photographing a child in sexual pose, encouraging a child to watch or hear sexual acts either in person or on a video, watching a child undress or use the bathroom. Okay, this is some video.
Spot the signs of sexual abuse. Appearance. Behavior. Communication. Think, appearance, behavior, communication. Targeting.
So there's a spot signs of sexual abuse. Okay, this is facts about child sexual abuse. More than 1 in 4 Australians, 28.5%, have experienced child sexual abuse. In up to 90% of child sexual abuse cases, the offender is known to the family. In more than half of cases, approximately 52%, the onset of child sexual abuse is from 10 to 8 years old. Okay, this is the cause of child sexual abuse. First, psychological issues. Psychological issues in child sexual abuse for abuser or individuals who commit this act often involve complex and disturbing mental patterns. Some abusive people may have psychological issues that are contributing to pedophilic disorder. A psychiatric condition in which pedophilic disorder is a psychiatric condition in which an adult experiences intense, recurring sexual urge or fantasies about children. The impact of these actions can contribute to innocent behaviors such as seeking out children as a way to satisfy their desires, even though knowing that their actions are illegal and harmful. The other example of psychological issues is have problems controlling their emotions and obsession with sex and difficulty feeling for other people or understanding social rules. Okay, second, we have cultural and societal norms. In some cases, abuses might be influenced by cultural belief or societal norms that normalize or trivialize child sexual abuse. For example, in some communities, in some communities, marriage is considered a sign of sexual activity. Underage marriage or relationship might be culturally accepted, leading the abusers to believe that such behavior is not abusive. Okay, third, lack of awareness. Lack of awareness refers to the inability or unwillingness of the abuser to fully understand or recognize the harmful impact of their action on the victim. This can include ignorance about the legal, emotional, and psychological consequences of their behavior, as well as a distorted belief that the child is not being harmed or that the abuse is acceptable under certain circumstances. For example, abusers might think that touching or interacting with a child inappropriately is not harmful if there is non-physical. They might think it's just a game, I'm not hurting them, without knowing they will give psychological trauma with their actions. 4. We have a personal history. Many child abusers were themselves victims of sexual, physical or emotional abuse during their own childhood. This trauma can lead to a cycle where they repeat the abusive behavior they experience. For them, the victims that they sexually need to feel what they felt before. Next. This is the 6 impacts of child sexual abuse. First is increased illness, body ache or other physical complaints, such as cuts or bruises on the body, face or near the private area, also feeling pain in the private area. Second, lack of self-esteem. It refers to a negative perception of oneself where an individual feels unworthy, inadequate or lacking in confidence. In this context, victims often develop a diminished sense of self-worth as a result of the trauma they have experienced. For example, there will be difficulty accepting compliments. It is because even when others praise them for their achievement, they might dismiss the compliments for feel unworthy of the recognition. Third, we have self-harm or suicidal thoughts. Okay, they will involve deliberately hurting oneself as a way to deal with emotional pain, while suicidal thoughts are thoughts about taking one's own life. For example, victims maybe see this solution can make their escape from internal suffering and is the way to express their feeling since no one can understand them. Okay, 4, we have post-traumatic stress. It means psychological distress that occurs after experiences or witnessing a traumatic event such as child sexual abuse. The trauma leaves a lasting impact on the victim's mental and emotional well-being, causing intense fear, anxiety and flashbacks of the event. PTS can affect the daily life and causes difficulty in functioning normally, both emotional and socially. Post-traumatic stress is known as PTS2. Okay, so for example, a child who has experienced this issue might develop symptoms of the post-traumatic stress such as intrusive memory or flashbacks. The victim may repeatedly relive the abusive experience in their mind, feeling as if they are going through it all over again. This flashback can be triggered by certain sounds, places, or even smells that remind them of the trauma. 5, we have the development of violent behavior. It refers to increased likelihood of aggressive or harmful actions towards her that can emerge in individuals who have experienced child sexual abuse. The victim may internalize anger, frustration, and pain. This behavior can be a way for them to express emotion that they are unable to process in a healthy way. For example, bullying or violence in school. A child who has experienced abuse might engage in bullying their peers at school using physical or verbal aggression as a way to express their intentional anger, or as a means to feel a sense of power over others. 6, we have a pregnancy or a sexually transmitted infection. It happens when the abusive acts lead to the transmission of infection or pregnancy in the victim. For example, unwanted pregnancy. This pregnancy can have several physical and psychological impacts, including trauma from carrying a child at a young age, complications during childbirth, and stigma or shame from society. A child who has been sexually abused also can have infection like HIV, chlamydia, gonorrhea, or syphilis. It can lead to long-term health issues, including chronic pain, infertility, or life-threatening conditions. So this is a measure to prevent child sexual abuse. First, we teach others about child abuse prevention. It means we need to educating the people, including parents, caregivers, educators, and children, on recognizing the sign of abuse, understanding the risk, and learning how to protect children from potential threats. This education focus on raising awareness, empowering people to take action, and promoting safe environments where children can grow and thrive. For example, school program for children. They can teach children about the concept of safe touch and unsafe touch, how to recognize uncomfortable situations, and encouraging them to speak up to a trusted adult if they ever feel threat or violence. Second, get involved with community-based prevention efforts. We need to launch a public awareness campaign using social media, poster, or community events to educate the general public about the prevalence of child sexual abuse and the collective responsibility of preventing abuse in the community. For example, we can join organizations like UNICEF to prevent this issue and take care of the child. Okay. Third, support child abuse victims. We need to support them because it will help the victims heal, recover, and rebuild their sense of self-worth and safety. For example, we can be their emotional support. It means we offering a listening ear and being empathetic to the child feeling without judgment. Sometimes people really like to judge without knowing the whole story, right? They always tell me the clothes, what you wear, when you. Okay, so they always blame me. So what about the babies that 3 or 6 months old, yang that have a child sexual abuse? Is that their fault or what? No. So no, right? So we need to support them without judgment. Okay, so the fourth one is seek more information about how to prevent abuse and keep children safe. For example, we can search how to prevent abuse on the internet or reliable sources. Fifth is report suspected child sexual abuse. It means we need to inform the appropriate authorities when there are reasonable grounds to believe that a child has been risked of being sexually abused. This process is essential for the protection of the child and involves notifying law enforcement, child protective service, or other relevant agencies that are trying to handle such case. Reporting is often mandated by law, especially for professionals who work with children. For example, a family member observes suspicious behavior in another family member towards a child, such as inappropriate comments or excessive physical contact. Concerned for the child's safety, the family member decides to report their suspicion to the authorities to investigate the situation. The last one is teach the 5 personal safety boundary rules. Okay, so what is the 5 personal safety boundary rules? First is no one should look at the private parts of your body. Second, no one should ask you to look at the private parts of their body. Third, no one should touch the private parts of your body. Fourth, no one should ask you to touch the private parts of their body. And the last one, no one should show your picture of private part on the TV, in magazines, on the computer, or on the cell phone. And the conclusion is, first we have a prevention and awareness. So education and teaching children about boundaries are crucial for preventing abuse and empowering them. Second, support and healing. Survivors need access to counseling and care to recover, also regain control of their life. Third, adult responsibility. Adults must protect children, recognize signs of abuse and take action when necessary. So we need to protect the children for a better future. That's all for me. Okay, so any questions?
What's the meaning of UNICEF?
UNICEF. Okay, UNICEF is an organization to protect children. So the long name is the United Nations Children Fund, originally known as the United Nations International Children's Emergency Fund. Was created by the United Nations General Assembly on 11 December 1946 to provide emergency food and health care to children and mothers in countries that have been devastated by World War II. Okay, in 1950, UNICEF mandate was extended to address the long-term needs of children and women in developing countries everywhere. In 1953, it became a permanent part of the United Nations system, and the words international and emergency were dropped from the organization name, though it retained the original acronym UNICEF. So this is the logo of the UNICEF.
What should someone do if they suspect a child is being abused?
They need to report the they can report to the police, but they need to provide to approve to provide the child sexual abuse.
What is the factor that may increase the risk of child abuse? Okay, so maybe the abuser have a pedophilic disorder, or we know is about pedophilia. This condition which an adult experiences recurring sexual urge or about children. Sometimes the abusers have a desire. It means the abuser's sexual enjoyment can be a motive for abusing a child, but it's not the only one. And there are usually also other motives at play. Such as control someone and feel powerful, manage or act out difficult emotions, gain status in the eyes of others, hurt someone for pleasure, feel close to someone. So most child abusers are not only sexually interested in child. Children are often target for sexual abuse simply because they are usually more vulnerable than adults.